Okay, BJ.
All right. Thank you for unmuting me. I couldn't find the button. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our call this evening. We are the Mission Possible team, and we have a great lineup for you this evening. So I just am excited to see the numbers that we have here this evening. And I have the pleasure and the honor of introducing Dany and Debbie Martin. Dany and Debbie Martin are from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and they have been in business for 29 years with the Juice Plus Company. Both of them are national marketing directors individually and are charter members of the prestigious 100 Club. In 1999, at the very first 39 Club get-together, they received the Go-Getter Award, only one of 2 awards given out at that event. That was the start of what is now known as the Elton Awards, and they were nominated again for an Elton Award for their international support of the Juice Plus Company. Speaking of international support, in 1998, Dany and Debbie both helped open business for Juice Plus in Australia. And since that time, most of the business done in Australia has been done through their team. Congratulations, that's exciting. After graduating high school, Dany spent 17 years in the supermarket and grocery industry. And after graduating from college, Debbie spent several years in sales before joining Dany in their Juice Plus franchise. They have 2 sons, Dany Jr. and Devin, and a daughter-in-law, Lindsay. They are both very involved in many community activities, especially in leadership positions in their church. They are firm believers that the virtual franchise business model has been life-changing for them and their family. So I want to give a huge warm welcome to this dynamic duo who are fun, they're funny, and they're full of insights that they're going to share with us tonight and enlighten us on being a buddy and finding a buddy. Take it away, Dany and Debbie. Welcome.
All right. Thank you. I see everybody standing up and clapping. That's cool. I love the standing ovation. Wait, y'all supposed to be muted. What are y'all doing? It's great to be on. Yeah, we like to have fun. You know, after 28 or so years in the business, we still find this fun, and we like to have a good time. And what we want to talk about tonight, as you guys had asked, was talk about, you know, having a buddy in the business. And since we're a couple that works the business together, I think we have some insight on that from some different angles, not only as you know, couple, a married couple working together, but outside of that, what some of you guys may could benefit from the buddy system out there. You know, I started in the business first. That's a little unusual because today we have so many females in our business and joining our business. But back in late 1989, early 1990, when I got started, I was a dissatisfied successful in the grocery business. Everyone thought I was successful, but I hated what I did, and I ended up joining this company to look at making some part-time money to get away from what I was doing and change jobs. I never intended on doing this on a full-time basis. But during that time, I saw this thing called residual income and time freedom. And any of you that had ever heard me speak before is when Debbie and I got married in 1989, I brought a 5-year-old son into that marriage. And I knew if I kept doing what I was doing, I was not going to watch him grow up. I was working a lot of hours, and I didn't want to be a dad that just sent a check because I'd gone through that divorce. So for me, I worked really hard that first year and ended up making this my full-time career at that point. And maybe I'll let Debbie kind of talk a little bit about her support role, because she was working outside the home at the time because we had health insurance benefits through her job, and I was able to pursue this business with her support. And her support may not necessarily mean what some of you think, but I'll let her maybe elaborate a little bit on that and what her role was in the beginning days.
When we first started the business, and I say we because it was a joint effort, even though I was not hands-on, I knew how miserable Dany was, and that's no way to start a marriage when you've got somebody in the job that they keep banging the ceiling and getting a headache and just dealing with all the stuff he was dealing with. And as a spouse, you know, we want our spouses to be happy. And so what my position was, being in an outside sales job, I couldn't go out and be active in his business, but I could be supportive of him in his business. And occasionally I could slip him leads. I could kind of around the side talk to somebody and say, hey, you need to talk to my husband about his business. It might be something you'd be interested in, the product with him. But the biggest thing that I was able to do to support his business is to be a cheerleader and attaboy, and you're okay, and hey, you had a sucky day, but you know what? It beats any day where you came from. And a lot of times that's all we need to do as the support partner, is to just be there and say, it's going to be okay. This is a business just like anything else. And you've got good days, you've got bad days. I had a bad day yesterday. Somebody I was working on that I just knew was going to be my best new buddy said no. And that happens. It's just like it's a real business, y'all. And so sometimes we need to be picked up. We need to be lifted up. And so I was that buddy. I was that cheerleader that even though I could not go out and hit the bricks with Danny working full time with him, I was able to say, it's going to be okay, baby. It's okay. You've had a rotten month, but it's going to be okay. This is what you're meant to do. You're gifted. You will get better. It will get better. Just keep talking to people. Keep going. And so that's where I was able to be his buddy in the early days and just be the cheerleader. Absolutely.
I think a lot of people think that that means that she had to be out there talking to people and giving out information and taking orders. And a lot of us confuse having support or having, you know, someone as a buddy doing that. I want to talk about, since we're talking about buddies here, what that is. I want to tell you just a quick story about Jay Martin. You know, when I think of Jay, I think of a story. It's kind of like Jay always thinks of a story, right? I'll never forget many, many, many years ago, sitting in a training that Jay was doing. He was up on a stage sitting on a bar stool, and there was probably, 200 of us in the room or something like that. And he started taking questions. And one of the questions someone stood up and asked, they said, Jay, and at this time, he had been the founder and president of the company for 25 or 30 years. I know we're approaching 50 years here in the next couple of years, but at this time, it was probably 25 years along. And they said, Jay, if there was one thing that you could do starting Monday morning, knowing what you know, having all the knowledge of what you have, you know, what would be the one single thing that you would focus on? I mean, that's a pretty good question to ask a guy that founded a company for 25 years and had been working in it. And, you know, of course, there's so many answers that you're thinking of about talking to people and sharing the product and all these different things. But what really surprised me, I guess, was Jay didn't bat an eye. He didn't stop and stare off into space. He immediately answered that question by saying, find a buddy. That was his answer. And I was kind of like, well, that was kind of shallow, like find a buddy. What does he mean by that? So, you know, maybe Debbie can talk a little bit about what a buddy is, but I learned many, many years ago from the guy that I respect that founded this company, that was the number one thing on his list that he would do had he had to go back out and start this business on Monday morning.
There's a lot of definitions and a lot of ways to describe a buddy, and I'm going to go through some of those. In the early days, I was Danny's buddy. Qualifications of a good, successful buddy: someone that supports you, someone that believes in you, someone that believes in your vision and your dream. They're in this business, and over the years that we've been involved in this business, we've learned a lot of things. And sometimes, you know, we think, oh, it's great that y'all work together and you're each other's buddy and all that. Sometimes you don't want your spouse to be your buddy. Sometimes your spouse doesn't believe in your vision yet. Sometimes your spouse is worried that you might be being taken advantage of. Sometimes they're scared for you and they're your protector. And so you can't go to them and complain. because their job is to protect you, and their immediate reaction is to rescue you. So you can't go to them and complain and get reassurance. So that may not be your best recourse as a buddy, because they have to take care of you. So, and sometimes your best friend, quote unquote, may not want you to break away from the herd. You know, we all run in packs, and we all, if you look around the packs that you run in, all of you kind of look similar. All of you behave kind of the same way. I see some smiles. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes in this business, you have to be brave enough to step away from the people who are negative and who complain. You know, sometimes there's people we don't talk to about Juice Plus because we will take away their entire identity. You know the ones I'm talking about. How you doing? Oh, well, do not give them Juice Plus. You'll kill them. They got nothing to talk about anymore.
Eeyore.
Well, so that's not going to be a good buddy for you either, because they're going to look at you and say, well, I told you that stuff wouldn't work. That business won't work. So sometimes your best friend isn't a good buddy. It may be someone who brought you into the business. It may not. It may be someone who has nothing to do with the business, but they love you, they care about you, they believe in you, and they just want you to shine. Or it may be somebody that you brought into the business and y'all work well together, and they're okay if you say, I had a bad day today. I need a bump. Or it may be somebody like me and BJ. We have nothing to do with each other in the business. We've met each other. We don't make money off of each other, but we've become good friends, and we can call each other and say, baby, I need a lift. Or, hey, I had a great day. I just want to celebrate. And we get out our hats and our blowers and, you know, we celebrate. So pick your buddy wisely, because you need someone to celebrate with, and you need someone that you can cry on their shoulder, but they let you mope for a few minutes and they tell you to get off your butt and get back to work. Because you can only suck your thumb for a little while and eat worms for a little while, and then you're going to get sick and you can't do anything. So pick your buddy carefully, and don't pick the ones that are toxic or going to have to go into rescue mode, because you're not going to be able to succeed in this business if you do that.
Yeah.
How'd I do?
And what Debbie's saying there is it really could be anybody. It really can be. You know, we think, well, it's got to be our sponsor or someone we sponsor, or this. It just really needs to be a like-minded person. You know, I've always told my two boys, as long as, and they'll both laugh and finish this sentence if you bring this up, but I've always told them, if you guys want to be a great shoplifter, hang around a great shoplifter, and you'll learn all the things you need to know to be a great shoplifter. And, you know, we laugh about that, but we are who we become or who we hang around. So that buddy, you need to have someone that's a like-minded person. That's the bottom line. It could be a sideline, as Debbie said, or anyone out there to do that. But it's important to have one. As Jay says, it's the power of two to influence the power of one is tremendous. It's like a corroborative witness in court. And many of you that are on watching this right now, if you've been in the business any amount of time, you know you've told people something 2 or 3 times maybe, and someone else comes along and tells them the same thing. I know this has never happened with your kids, right? And they go, ooh, wow, that was awesome. That was great. And you're sitting there thinking, well, I've already told them this 5 times, right? But it's hearing it from someone else to have that. So having that buddy and having someone, like Debbie said, you can celebrate with, that you can be in the trenches with if you need to be, or whatever it may be, that's real important. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a spouse or a partner. It really doesn't. Now, if you have that, that's great, and that helps a little bit, but it doesn't have to be. And speaking with that, maybe I'll jump back to Debbie here, but what is that spouse's role? In other words, when we both ended up becoming full-time in the business together, and maybe Debbie can tell you why she decided to join the business. You guys know my story there, but she decided to join. So when she did, what were our roles, and how did that work, and has that changed over the years, and how we support each other? And did we or do we still do everything together, or do we do things separately, and that kind of thing? Those are all great questions to kind of look at in doing that. But a buddy can be anyone in the business, so don't just think it's got to be a spouse or it's got to be your sponsor. It's just got to be a like-minded person that you connect with, that has this same belief in the culture and community that we're part of.
My turn?
Yeah. Go.
And your buddy can change sometimes too. If you're, like Danny said, if you're doing three-way phone calls or you're talking to different people, you can get a different buddy to be an amenter or a corroborator. So keep that in mind. You've got like your main running buddy, and then you've got different buddies if you're talking to different people that need to hear a different message. So keep that in mind also. But to answer Danny's question about why I joined, there were several reasons why I wanted to come to work with him. When I was working in outside sales, I was getting up and I was at my office at 7 in the morning, and I was not getting home till 6 or 7 at night. I was bringing work home on weekends. I was dealing with a lot of personal harassment, sexual harassment. It was just a contest to see how much they thought I could take. And I was able to take a whole lot, but it was getting rough. But another thing, when Danny started working on his own, there was some jealousy there. I mean, the dude was still in bed when I was getting up and leaving at 6:15 in the morning. And I'm like, really? Seriously? And he's setting his own hours. He's like working the phone in his boxers, and I'm having to get up and put pantyhose on, of all things. Really? Seriously? And so high heels and pantyhose, leaving the house before the sun's up, and he's still laying in bed. So I'm thinking, you better get to work, get me out of here. And then when all the other stuff started escalating, it's like, okay, I think I can do what he's doing. I could probably do it better, just saying. And so we decided that if he could get his income up enough and get things going and be in the partnership we had, we could probably work this business really well together. And then when we started working full time together, we figured we needed a bigger house because he talked way too loud, and we needed separate offices on the other end of the house, maybe in different houses, because seriously, he's real loud. So yeah, me too. And so we like to laugh, we like to have fun, but in the same room, you can't do that on the same phone calls. So we work together when we want to. We work separately and see different people. It's easier to cover more territory when you're working separately. It just, if I need him on an appointment, I ask him, he'll do the same thing. Some people need both of us. Some people need the other one. It just depends on who we're seeing. We travel well together. We enjoy traveling. So we do that a lot together, but we also don't limit ourselves to every single appointment we have to be attached at the hip. We like each other pretty much, but that gets old quick if you have to be attached at the hip. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. So go see your people, see your appointments, come home, say, hey, honey, I'm home, and everybody's happy. So you can work this business together and not have to be stuck like Velcro, and really be successful. And that's how you can grow more business too. So have fun, but you don't have to do it all together. So it's a good, fun business. You can pick the times when you work together. You can pick when you want to travel together. There's some places Danny goes that it's like, have fun, baby. Have a good time. And then there's places he goes, it's like, dude, you better not leave me here. I'm coming with you. So we have a good time like that. We've got a good time with the family. The kids are able to travel with us. And when we're not dealing with school, we take off. And every trip is a business trip, no matter where we go, no matter what we do, because we're talking to somebody somewhere about Juice Plus. So it's a fun business to work and to work together. But again, we work it smart also.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that brings up something. I'll just throw this in. I'm not going to spend much time on this, but it brings up a question I get all the time is if a husband and wife are partners or spouses want to, work together or build a business, what do you recommend they do? Who sponsors who and that kind of thing? And just real quick, I just say it this way. Build one position first. You can only juggle so many balls or spin so many plates. And so what we did is you never hear say that, obviously you guys know I signed up in the business first and now sponsored Debbie because she came on later, but that doesn't matter. You'll always hear us reference our first position and our second position in the business, because the first position, even though it was in my name, I had to have that support. When I went off to meetings or trainings or was out late at night on appointments and things, I had to make sure that she trusted that I was where I said I was going to be and doing what I said I was going to be doing and those types of things. So there was a partnership there. So if you're going to look at building two positions in our business, build the first one first and solid, and don't have it mine and his or hers. And, that's just not a way to do it. That's not a good way to work it together. It's not like she has, her leads and her people go under her. And no, we have a business that we built one position solid. Then we built a second position solid only because the company allowed us to do it. So that's why we did that. One other thing I'd like Debbie maybe to touch on is, there's so many women in our business. I don't know what the percentages is. I'm going to say 90, 95% today versus what it was when we first started, back in the day. And I have so many women that want to know the role of their spouse. How can I get them involved, especially men? How can I get my husband? How can I get my boyfriend involved and support me and this and that and the other? And so maybe Debbie, with these roles being reversed, because I was kind of the first one, moving into the business and she was supporting. And I know we touched on this a little bit, but specifically for women looking for the support of a man, whether it be their spouse or partner or whatever, what are some tips or things that maybe you can say or relate to that, Debbie, and from that standpoint?
Let me describe what support looks like when you're brand new in this business. Honey, have a good time. I'll see you when you get home. I'll get the kids bathed. I'll get them to bed and they'll be fine. Thank you, baby. I'll see you when I get home. Hugs, kisses.
And I'll say this, they may not be dressed like you would dress them, and they may not eat what you could feed them, but as long as they're not bleeding and they're still breathing when you get home.
No fire and no blood spurting from two places. I don't care if there's blood oozing a little bit, it's got to be spurting from a main artery. If that's not happening, that spouse or partner has done their job. Do not criticize, you be thankful, you appreciate, hugs and kisses. That is them supporting you. If there's dishes in the sink, keep your mouth shut. If there's clothes that are folded improperly, baby, you folded the clothes, yes! That is support. You have someone at home taking care of things the way they're going to take care of things while you are getting a business, which looks like a hobby, off of the ground. As you build your business with their support and you start getting a little check, they may come to an event. That's support. They will never talk to their friends. They will never share Juice Plus. They're not going to do any of that stuff, but that's support. When you start getting a bigger check, might have a comma in it, they might give a card out. They may bring you a lead. When the numbers start getting bigger, it was their idea. So anything they do that is positive, that is support. Anything that they do that is not, you going out again, is support. Appreciate that, be thankful, put it in your gratitude journal, and don't push. The ones who get anything supportive, because remember, the husband is the provider and the protector. And all they are wired to do is take care of you and protect you. So appreciate anything they do and it will continue to improve. Do not gripe, do not criticize, appreciate, and it will organically happen and improve and grow until it's y'all's business, and then it was his idea. Be patient, be grateful, be patient, and be appreciative, and do not criticize, and it will happen. How's that?
Absolutely.
Is that speaking truth?
Absolutely. You know, the key point here, guys, is whether it's a spouse, a partner, or whatever it may be, or someone else, is it's first of all, it's a lot more fun to laugh and cry together and have that community and culture around you. So I encourage you to find a buddy, to find a buddy. And if you're part-time in this business and you don't really know where this is going for you, or this doesn't look like it's something that could be a full-time business, we totally understand that, because we were there. We were there, 28, 29 years ago, but it evolved. It was a journey, and it's still a journey that we're on. But let me just tell you this, it can be life-changing. And I don't talk about that from theory. We talk about that from a standpoint of experience. It has totally been life-changing for our family. For someone that had never been on an airplane when he started this business, and's been to Australia 40 times now, or whatever the number is, I don't know, and to Europe and Canada and all over the United States, and we were able to travel together as a couple, as a family, and bring our kids to all these places and things. It's been life-changing. We've been able to bury 4 parents. All 4 of our, Debbie and my parents have passed away. I know that sounds real positive, right? But you know what? Unless you haven't experienced that yet in your life, there's a chapter in your life where we end up being the parents again to our parents, and we take care of them. And you don't know how great that feels to be able to do that and take the time and have the resources to do that. We just had something happen to us 2 years ago yesterday, right? Our house flooded and we lost everything 2 years ago. Some people are still trying to recuperate from that. And we're sitting in a beautiful home here that we were able to rebuild and get back into because we had the time and the resources to do this. This is life-changing, and you never know what curveballs life's going to throw at you. But I tell you what, this business will prepare you to hit them and hit them out of the park. And so I just encourage you to find a buddy, find that like-minded person, partner up, and move forward and do the simple things that it takes to build this business, because you won't regret it. What you become in this journey may quite surprise you by the time you get along this journey along the way. That's all I have to say. Debbie, you got anything else?
That's it. Get ready for the ride. You never know what to expect.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys in Tampa in not long, and we're going to see some of you in Canada next week.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Thank you so much. That was absolutely fabulous. And you were talking, yeah, it's just amazing, just great. And I had written something here, and it just plays perfectly into what you just said about greatness. And I love Jim Rohn. And I said, whoever renders service to many puts himself in line for greatness. Great wealth, great return, great satisfaction, great reputation, and great joy. How perfect. How perfect. So, and then I love John Maxwell as well. If you are a leader, the true measure of your success is not getting people to work, is not getting people to work hard, it's getting people to work together. And just thank you for your insights and your leadership tonight and sharing your story. It was absolutely wonderful. So thank you. Sharon, do you have something you'd like to share?
I just want to say my personal thanks to Debbie and Dany. You all have led by example in so many ways, and it's been my privilege to be your friend and business partner, mission partner in this journey. And we're going to see you in Whistler.
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah. I'll tell you what, guys, Dave and Sharon have been dear friends of ours for many years. We've been to their home many times. And I'll tell you that you couldn't be in better hands with the leadership, with them and their team that they have. Follow their lead. Play a little follow the leader, and you'll be okay with this.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, BJ. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
My words is go shine the light this week. Go have a super week shining the light for health and hope. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sandy. Thanks, Debbie.
Thanks, BJ. Thanks, Danny. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you.
Super. It was fun. Lots of people on here. It was really fun. It was good.
Wonderful.
Thanks so much.